We are in Ireland House in Bucharest, and we have the honor to have an interview with His Excellency, the Ambassador of Ireland in Romania. Thank you very much for receiving us in your house in Romania, in Bucharest.
Well, thank you very much for being here. I look forward to a good conversation.
I know Ireland has an extraordinary period of growth between 1993 and 2007. And it was one of the countries with the highest growth in the world. However, it encountered some difficulties during financial crisis. And I want to ask you, what were the sector most hurt by this financial crisis, and how your country managed this period?
Well, I would say the sectors most seriously affected were construction and also consumption. In other words, the consumer market was very much reduced. But it's not surprising that the construction sector suffered, because that was in fact the cause of the crash. We had expanded far too rapidly in property and in construction, and with the international financial crisis, that just fell apart. We have coped, although of course with difficulty. What has kept us going is the fact that our economy was highly internationalized, highly globalized, and that is the sector that kept prospering. We have continued to increase our exports. We have a positive balance of payments, so we're paying our way in the world. At the same time, we have to consolidate our national finances, and this is the painful aspect. The word austerity comes up. It's a word that's known very well in many European countries, including in Romania.
But do you feel is still something that should be done for the future? Because it has been done for several years, and maybe people cannot endure anymore.
That is true. There is indeed a continuing debate in Ireland, as in elsewhere, about the effects of austerity and the need for investment and restructuring. I think our government would agree with that. There has to be a twin approach, but the idea of relaxing budgetary restraint is not a good one. We're simply increasing our national debt. Our national debt is already very, very high. It will break 100% of GDP. So that is not a situation we want to hand on to the next generation. But at the same time, we have to invest for future growth. We have to create jobs, and that is what we're trying to do. Unemployment is high at 14.5%, but it is stable. And although it is high, it's less high than in many other European countries. A big problem, of course, is youth unemployment, as it is in other countries, and that is a matter of concern. We are concerned at the level of young people who are immigrating, and of course this is a huge loss to society. It's a loss to the economy.
I want to touch a little bit this unemployment issue related with some Romanian issues, because we face as Romanians a problem abroad, a perception that Romanians might emigrate and take jobs from Western citizens. Do you feel in your country is this perception and somehow a negative perceptions about Romanians, Bulgarians, and so on, related with jobs?
Well, I think I have good news on that. There is an important Romanian community in Ireland. It's probably around 40,000. Ireland is a small country, so that's approaching almost 1% of the total population. The fact is that it doesn't seem to be a problem. There's no public debate about Romanian and Bulgarian immigrants. the Romanian community is stable, and as far as I can see, it's well integrated. It's making its own contribution to Irish national life. Of course, there probably are abuses. There may be a number of people that come to benefit from the social welfare provisions. But you will be aware that this time last year, Ireland lifted all restrictions on access to the Irish labour market by Romanians and Bulgarians. So what happened after that? Not very much. We're aware of no new wave of immigration, and of course, well, we are aware of the debate in other countries, such as in Great Britain, but that was not our experience.
And related with that, what is your attitude towards admission of Romania and Bulgaria in Schengen
Well,
space?
the first thing I have to say is Ireland is not a member of Schengen, so it is not our decision, but at the same time, we commend Romania for the preparations that it has made, and we support its efforts to overcome the reluctance of certain Schengen members about admission. As presidency, we have tried to facilitate an agreement. This did not prove possible, unfortunately, and the issue will now be considered again at the end of this year under the Lithuanian presidency.
But I want to ask your opinion, your personal opinion this time. Is this admission in Schengen a real goal, a real target, or is rather a debate between politicians? I mean, it will be so important for Romania to enter in Schengen. We're already traveling free as a citizens. Of course, business traveling is a little bit more difficult at the borders, but still they can do commerce and so on. Is it a real target?
Well, I see your point, but to be realistic, this has enormous symbolic importance for Romania, and I can sympathise with that. Yes, Ireland is outside Schengen. We don't feel any great difficulty. However, the situation is different. Ireland is an island, and it's different. Romania, I think, in the first place, would benefit from the opening of land borders. This would facilitate commerce. I can understand and sympathise with the arguments of Romania.
You said before that the economy of Ireland is highly globalized. However, how about the local companies? Was there more hurt than the multinationals or the companies in touch with globalization?
Well, I wouldn't distinguish between multinational companies and Irish-owned companies. I would distinguish between companies that depended on the Irish market and companies that exported. Our export sector has held up, as I have said, and they have done well, and it is thanks to that we are working our way through the crisis.
I observed that in European space there are different alternatives to crisis, to put more pressure on the companies or to put more pressure on people. How this felt in your country? Do you feel the companies were held the burden or the people?
I think the argument is not so much about companies but about banks, and it's the banking sector that is perhaps the greatest source of our crisis. Yes, there is of course a resentment among the people that they have to suffer while the banks are being supported. But however, in practical terms, we need a good functioning banking sector. It has had to be recapitalized. We had to make good the huge black hole, if I could call it, in the banking sector. we have had to put something like 65 billion euro of public funds into the banks. At the same time, living standards have fallen somewhat. But let's put this in context. They have fallen to the level they were in, say, in the year 2001, 2002, which is already maybe far in advance of the current level in Romania. But people feel this is a loss, and they feel squeezed.
More than 60 billion?
Yes, it's a huge amount of money.
Can you compare it with GDP, with your GDP?
I'm sorry, I can't give you that statistic now, but I mean, it's just a huge amount of money for a small country.
I want to ask you a little bit about the bilateral economic relations between Ireland and Romania, previous 2008, and about the situation we face currently.
Okay, up to 2008 and maybe a little bit afterwards, the main Irish commercial interest in Romania was in construction, in property. That has not done so well in recent years. There is, however, continuing Irish investment in Romania. It's at a low level, but something we hope to build on. A number of companies in the telecommunications area, specialized niche companies, also in the environment area.
Green energy?
Green energy, that kind of thing. They've been quite active here. As I said, it's something I would like to see built on. I cannot say I am satisfied with the level of Irish investment. I want to see more, but that's what we're working on. The other way around, I'm honestly not aware of any Romanian investment in Ireland, but this could change. As I said, we have a large Romanian community in Ireland, and a lot of these are professional people. They have now experience of both countries, so they will see opportunities there. That's something I think we can work with.
Do you perceive any opportunity in Romania as a country to export something in Ireland?
Our exports are quite good. We export something like 400 million euro to Romania currently. The Romanian exports to Ireland are somewhat less. Now, a lot of that is accounted for by multinational companies, but a small number of Irish companies, Irish-owned companies, are doing business. We want to increase that. The fact is, of course, Irish companies go for markets where they can get a quicker return, and we need to persuade them that there are prospects in Romania. I myself am convinced that there are. The Romanian market will grow. It's an inevitability that Romania will move towards the European average in terms of prosperity. And I think I have to keep making the point to Irish exporters that although in total GDP terms, Romania is not a prosperous country, but it nonetheless, out of a population of over 19 million people, it has a very significant middle class. And that middle class is bigger than, say, the corresponding number in other countries of Central and Eastern Europe. So, to my mind, there is huge potential here.
Do you feel our government, and I don't speak specifically on the current government, our government in general, in last 20 years, do you perceive did enough to stimulate the bilateral economic relations? What we can do more? from the Romanian side?
Well, it's a difficult issue, but it's not an institutional issue, and I don't see a role for government intervention on either side. The best we can do on both sides is to facilitate the commercial activity that exists, that can grow, and for new entrants into the market. I cannot criticise the Romanian government. You have, as a country, other priorities, maybe the bigger markets in Europe.
But have you met, for example, Irish businessmen which prospect Romania and said, we had the intention to come in Romania, but we faced this or that problem and we had to change our mind?
Yes, I have. I've met a number of disappointed Irish businessmen.
And what were their problems?
Well, it's the overall business environment. It's complex doing business in Romania. The structures are not as transparent as they should be. I compare it with the Irish experience, which is it's very simple. Investors, for example, in Ireland have a one-stop shop. They go to one agency, everything is done. In Romania, investors have to face the whole complexity of different elements of the state apparatus. And as I said, transparency can be a difficulty.
Do you feel Romania has opportunities in terms of tourism for Irish people?
Yes, that is one area where Romania has enormous potential. There is tourism here, but my feeling is that it's underdeveloped. Romania, of course, has promoted to a huge extent the Black Sea coast, but that's not necessarily what Irish tourists want to see. They can go to Spain for that, it's nearer. No, what Romania has special is its countryside, Maramuresh, Transylvania. This is extraordinarily beautiful. There is such a rich heritage there. It is still largely undiscovered. What's needed, of course, is to develop the tourism infrastructure there, and of course the infrastructure in general. So I'd hope in years to come that the road system will be somewhat better.
I want to ask you to touch a little bit the positive and the negative experiences that you had as an ambassador and as a simple inhabitant in Romania.
Well, I can say that I have enjoyed my stay here immensely. What I've liked particularly, the people, wonderful people. They're friendly, curious people. I think we Irish relate to them very well. Also, the countryside, I've mentioned it already. Maramuresh, we spent a week there last summer. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Romanian culture, you have so much to offer. Here in Bucharest, cultural life is so incredibly accessible. It is so rich. I've enjoyed theatre here immensely. You have a very high standard. You have a fantastic tradition here in theatre. I think the world knows about this already, for example, through the Sibiu Theatre Festival, through the Bucharest Theatre Festival. It's something that I've been discovering myself slowly. You asked me the negative aspects. Well, I cannot be too critical. Maybe as a resident here, I would wish the road system to be better. I would wish traffic conditions to be better. As a resident of Bucharest, I would like very much not to see cars parked on the footpath, which does not give a good impression. And I think you have some way to go there.
As a last, not a question, rather a comment, I would like to point out that you are one of the diplomats in Romania that learned and speak fluent Romanian. And I want to invite you for the final of our interview to change our language in Romania and to discuss a little bit in Romania.
Cu plăcere.
Aș vrea să vă întreb și poate să fie și un exemplu pozitiv și pentru politicienii români și din România și de peste hotare să învețe foarte bine limba țării în care activează, chiar că poate este o limbă mai exotică, cum este româna pentru dumneavoastră. Ce v-a făcut să vă îndrăgostiți de limba română sau să vă convingă să o vorbiți? Pentru că până la urmă v-ați fi putut descurca foarte bine și în engleză.
Cum ați zis, e limba țării, dar implică un anumit respect pentru țara gazdă, dar în ceea ce privește interesul meu, am un interes în limbi latine. Am studiat la universitate de mult latină și franceză și română e o limbă bogată, muzicală și e o limbă latină, dar e o limbă latină cu multe elemente exotice. Pentru mine e fascinant. Dar probabil cea mai mare provocare e că românii vorbesc atât de bine limba engleză și sunt atât de politicoși și vor neapărat să mă răspundă în limba mea.
Și atunci nu aveți parteneri de conversație în română?
Ba da, dar e dificil, trebuie să insist puțin.
Cum reacționează politicienii români când le vorbiți în limba română? Atunci când aveți întâlniri oficiale sau poate informale cu ei?
Nu știu, dar poate face o bună impresie, dar pentru mine e important și eu de obicei fac discursurile mele publice în limba română și reacția e întotdeauna bună.
Thank you very much for receiving us and for giving us this interview.
You're very kind. It's a pleasure.